Oh no, council has now gone digital with the parking permits, and boy, have we got some stories in the last couple of weeks for you guys and girls. The Nana Muscuri of property management, Cleo Whittier, is going to tell us some of the experiences and what people are doing with their digital parking permits with council. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Nana Muscuri, good morning.
Kalimera Sas, how are you?
Eh? Are you going to do it today in Greek?
Wouldn't that be fun? And then no one would
Oh.
understand a word I was saying. I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's topic is a little is it's not a heated one, but it's creating a lot of work and a lot of turbulence for property managers, for tenants, for owners, um, in the bid to be more efficient in the end. But there's certainly more work up front. To take it back, what a parking permit actually is for people that don't know, because it may be handy for you to know. Can you tell us a little bit about a parking permit, the use of one?
Sure. Each ratepayer is allocated 2 permits per year, and the permits are allowing you to park at the local beach car parks for free. So if you're a resident and you want to go to the beach on the weekends, in the afternoons, any time of the day, if you're a council ratepayer, you can park in the allocated parking for free. Now, these permits are annual. Every 31st of August, they issue the new lot of stickers, obviously before summer comes into effect, and it is a very busy time in PM, even before this rollout. So, 2 parking permits per property per ratepayer. So, if you're an owner with 6 properties, you might have 2 times 6 parking permits to your disposal. Now, do you have, 12 cars or whatever? Maybe not. So you may choose to allocate or give those parking permits to friends or family. And in the past, it was a sticker that you put on your windshield.
So they've gone digital now.
Oh, they've gone digital now. As if the stickers weren't painful enough, now it's digital, which got rolled out on the 1st of July this year. Now, if you think about it, Northern Beaches Council, that's 208,000 permits that have to go out. Now, each year we'd get a
Oh.
stack of the council rates with the sticker, and we bind them. Every office had their own internal procedure. You would have the stickers, and then you'd give them to the owner. The owner would collect them, or they would advise you, look, I've got plenty, just give one to our tenant, and you just cut it up very easily, and the tenant would come in and pick it up. Now you have to register on the council website. You have to provide a vehicle registration number that has to be then entered into the system, and the permit is invisible. It's linked digitally, and I'm guessing, I've heard that the people that check the parking rangers, they have this special phone
Laser
app.
beam, laser beam.
Another special device so they can scan and check that that vehicle has been registered on the council website. But I guess the first thing is, who is responsible to then register all of these permits and license numbers? This task could take hours. I mean, to do one registration, we did one in the office, it took over half an hour for just one. It's very tedious. It's like applying to NCAT. You go back, and if the number's not
Oh.
correct, it's very fiddly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd take me what, half a minute to cut up a sticker, and I'm spending over half an hour trying to register one license plate.
So we're going to get into a curly one in a second, a real curly contentious one in a sec, but before, which is how many does the tenant get? Should the tenant get any? Do they get one? Do they get two? Stay tuned for this. But um, what's that process with actually that they getting registered? So what does an own can an owner do it? Can a tenant do it? Can an agent do it for an owner?
The owner typically needs to do it because they register as being the owner of the property. They're then using the link number from the council rates notice that they received this month. Any month, it would still be the same number. And then they've created a login with a username and password, and then they go in and register. Now, the agent needs to give the owner the license plate details. So if an owner reaches out and says, yes, I would like to give my tenant a ticket, or no, the agent typically will give that number to the owner. It's up to the owner to do. I'm sure an owner can nominate an agent to do that. However, with the passwords and being, not the owner ourselves, it is expected for the owner to log in and do that process.
This will have to be done per tenancy or per year.
Per year, I think these new permits last up to 3 years, I believe now.
Not
So
bad. Not bad. Not
yeah,
bad.
so it might be a
So
little bit of pain now, but you're doing that process. But each time a tenant moves, or an owner even, or changes car, that has to be updated. So you have to have that whole process start all over again. So say you get 3 tenants within 3 years, you are constantly having to add, remove. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a bit
okay,
hesitant.
which arches over to the next question. Council has decided to make themselves an advocate on what owners should do with their tenants in relation to the stickers.
They use the word
We have no
expected.
idea why they've decided to take a position on this, but they have. Not that they have any bearing on this, but what does it say on the council website?
It says that a landlord is expected to give over one of the permits if their property is tenanted.
Only one.
Expected. Oh, well, only one, yeah, because they're entitled to one. Maybe
They're in, they're entitled to two or one or none.
technically you cannot force legislation on a word expected. That is such a loose term. That's like saying, I would really like you to give the tenant a sticker. Council, thank you for putting that out there, because there is no legal bearing to that. It is so ambiguous. And then tenants then will come back with us saying, well, council website says it's expected. And then what? We've got to then determine how that expected word is interpreted and argue with the tenant interpreted. Sorry.
I am sick of the government, be it local council, be it state, be it federal, telling a landlord who owns an asset what to do with that asset. I think it's borderline communism, right? When you own that property, I get that there's rights of a tenant, but I also get that you can actually overarch and overstep that when it between a landlord and a tenant. This is a classic example of it's been the landlord's discretion. Now, my personal opinion is different. Is different to my professional opinion actually on this one, because what I would do personally is probably what I would not recommend professionally. And to make this complicated, I personally would just give both of mine to I shouldn't say this, but I'd give both of my permits to the tenant. I think they're paying the rent; they should have it. But I think the professional position be it's the landlord's discretion. And I certainly know if you take this into a tribunal matter, that the tenant cannot force to have a council permit, one or two given to them. That's the rules. But where local council turns around and uses the word expected, dumb shit.
Look, yes, I agree with what you're saying 100%. And, you know, does anyone really own any property here in Australia? I don't think any owners own their property anyway. We pay for everything. it's it's
Doesn't
not
feel like
really,
it.
it
Doesn't
doesn't
feel like
feel
it.
like it. So how about this? If you're giving one of your paid permits, isn't it fair then you should make the tenant give you half of what you paid for the annual council rates? You want half of the permit? Here's half of the bill.
Oh, they're paying the rent. You'd think which were there, but look,
No,
I
they're
think
paying the rent they're paying, sorry, but the rent they're paying is for the allocated car space. It is for the
yeah.
inclusions of the property which they are able to park in a car space or garage. Where does it say that they should be able to park at a beach because we're on the northern beaches? That is crazy. Like if
Good point.
a
Good
landlord
point.
wants, yeah, if a landlord wants to onset it, that's great. Not all our landlords live in the area, and they'd be more than happy. And I've got probably more landlords saying they'd like to give one than not. But it does put that whole conflict on the property manager now to then interpret this word expected as many other things we have to interpret now with all these
It's
new
your fault.
laws.
This is your fault.
It's gonna be my
This is
fault.
the property manager's fault, and you're not giving me a parking permit. You are a cow.
You know, also litigiously, we're going to have to write in these lease agreements now, no parking permit provided. So any new lease will have to stipulate that you do not have a parking permit provided. So that
Why?
because you're going to have to legalize it at some point because they've used this word
Are you just
expected. So
have you just made that up?
no, I've researched it. Of course, I didn't make it up. It will say that you will add the permit as a negotiation in the rent moving forward. So you get a new tenancy, you might say plus one permit provided. Or if you're banking on street parking or anything like that, you can't add that. So we used to be able to add if there's no car space on street parking. But if you're not
Wow.
if you're not giving the parking permit, you can't say no on street parking. So it will need to be written up in the lease to cross all those grey areas that council has now created. We will then have to then include those again. Like the lease agreement is long enough. Has anyone seen the standard lease agreement now with all these new laws? It's literally like 10 pages of contract law that no tenant really reads, and then we have to go through it all. It's just thank you very much.
Another reason to have a good property manager. Have you flexed some muscle today, Cleo? Have that? Urgh,
I shouldn't
urgh.
I shouldn't
You've
become
done
a
a flex,
hairdresser.
but just on one very very small topic, you can see in property management how low can you go, how deep can it get. There's shitfest that can be created morally, principle, and on so many just on parking permits. So I reckon you get a good property manager, and if you haven't got one, give us a call.
Thank you guys, and you can purchase one for $250 at the local council website.
Not a property manager, but a permit.
Yeah, no,
So
a
you can
permit.
purchase them as a
Yeah,
tenant. Okay.
yeah, yeah. With your lease
Did you do
agreement,
that before?
you could do that before, definitely. I
Yeah.
think now as well, when there's more than one car, even if your landlord gives you one, you
Go
might
buy
want
one.
two. So go and buy
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
legend.
you.
Wow,
See you.
that was really impressive today, Cleo. Really impressive.
I must have slept well last night. No.
Yeah, yeah. I want to use you as a property manager now. Have a great day. Hopefully, this
Bye.
helped people out there on this very, very grey matter.
Ciao.
See ya. Bye bye.